Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we are on episode 37 of WWE EVOLVE. A pretty solid episode, which we'll obviously cover here, but I think that they've had some good momentum lately, especially rolling into 40 episodes, almost to that year mark, too. It's kind of insane, but let's just jump into it. So we started off the show with Callie Armstrong. She's been gone for a couple weeks ever since Succession, just because, like, obviously she was champion, lost. I mean, just not much you could do with champion afterwards, or the ex-champion. So she's basically saying that she wants a rematch, but P Nasty, or was it PJ Vasa, interrupted her. Honestly, like, it's gonna be a good match for them. I feel like they never know what to do with the LFG like second place people, and they throw them on Evolve. Obviously, the first two did not work out. This one, I definitely feel like could be the person to kind of like break that, because she's kind of got the good mic skills and some good wrestling skills. I think she's like far in a better place than most people are when they debut in Evolve. So there's a good shot. But going against Callie Armstrong instantly is one of two things: either she beats her and she has that red hot momentum that she can ride into a title match at some point, which would be really good, or she loses, and they don't really know what to do with her afterwards. But this promo I thought was pretty good. Both of them really are progressing good on the mic. Obviously, I think P Nasty's much further along just because she's been in the PC, but Callie Armstrong's been way better since that, like, just being angry was like her first couple promos here, but then now she's kind of like gotten it solid to actually be a star. I think she's honestly ready for NXT. That's why I'm like, this match just might be her finale to like send off one more person to move on and evolve, why she goes to the top, because like they have the spots right now, and this is the time that, like, if she gets the call up to NXT with like a lot of people hopefully going up to the main roster, she could really find that groove and be in that spot to be an actual player in that vein. So solid start to the show. I'll put it in B. Next up, we had our first match. It was Super Sean Legacy versus Eli Knight, one of the new three prospects. I thought this was a great idea to put him against Sean Legacy. Obviously, Sean Legacy is like one of these people that, like, he's just way too talented to be on Evolve. I don't know what they're gonna do with him in the long run, but like he just has to be either on NXT or just honestly, like, he feels like he's almost main roster ready with his like look and his skills. He's a really solid all-around wrestler that doesn't really, like, I don't think need a lot of more training, but definitely needs to be on NXT already. I mean, we've seen him in the little bit of glimpses up there during the speed tournament, and he had I think he had a title shot for the North American title too. Like, all of that, he should be him just still staying up there. They could definitely use the talent, especially with the roster. Hopefully flip it over a little bit on NXT. He would be the perfect person to slide in there. But I do have a feeling he's going to either win the title, because he faces Jackson Drake at Gold Rush, so he might win the title there or something. Because I feel like that's too big of an opportunity for Evolve not to do something crazy with their titles, which I'm kind of sad that they're not defending both titles there. I think that's kind of a bad idea. I don't know why they decided that, but I guess there's something behind that. But this match, going back to it, actually just was really good. Eli Knight did that. He ran up to the going into the corner and hit off the top turnbuckle and did like a flip backwards. I don't think I've ever really seen that without people just doing like some random stupid crazy stuff. But I think altogether this was just a really solid match. I do wish it had more time. 6 minutes is not enough to really fully get into it, but honestly, I think I really enjoyed this one, so I'm gonna put it up in A. I like, if somebody said B, I could understand that too, just because of the timing. I think like 6 minutes is hard to get an A match, but when we're talking about Evolve, I think it was really good quality, and just honestly highlighted both men. Eli Knight, even though he lost and took the pin, like, he still looked good. Then we had a little bit of altercation. They brought back the VIP zone, so Harley Riggs and Jax Presley was there, kind of just doing their thing. And then those two interrupted Sean Legacy at the end, and then Timothy Thatcher came up and said that he has a tag team or something that, basically they're gonna have a mystery tag thing, which could be interesting. I think it'll be two guys we have not seen before, just because of like the way that it's set up that way. So I'm kind of intrigued. So I'm gonna put this up an A. I'm actually intrigued to see this match next week. Then we had our second match of the night. It was Mason Holiday versus Nikita Lyons. Now, this is a problem that Evolve has with being 4 weeks behind in the recording. They've been running dark matches as this a faction. It was Nikita Lyons, you know, Mason Holiday and Layla Diggs as a faction. So we're building that story on Evolve, but it's completely pointless because why build up the story when we're not going to get, like, we already know what's happened. Like, they have to be aware that sometimes stuff is going to be leaked. So they can't have such a big build on something like this if they really want it to be successful, because everybody's confused because I've seen dark matches or seen clips of them three together, and then all of a sudden now they're fighting. It just seems completely out of the blue. It's that, and I think the other thing they really messed up this week was announcing the Gold Rush match between Jackson Drake and Shawn Legacy, because we kind of already knew it was going to be the championship. Like, we already knew Jackson Drake was going to retain no matter what, because why waste having Jackson Drake come on NXT and have that interaction just for him to lose and then have Kiana Carver, because then it puts no hype around that match and makes really no sense. So unfortunately, they kind of really been shooting themselves in that foot with that 4 week thing. This is also the first episode that marks that I think everybody who's been released a while back are now officially gone, because I know no Stevie Turner and obviously all of everybody else. So, I mean, I guess, that should help a little bit, because that was also a very confusing, weird part, because you'd have people that have been gone for 4 weeks having multiple matches, and you're just like, well, this is kind of a waste, but hopefully they get back on track. I don't know why it takes them 4 weeks, because they don't like record four, like a lot of shows record like four tapings at once and then just go on, but this one is just what it is, I guess. But Mason Holiday and Nikita Lyons actually was a pretty fun match. I don't think I would say it was like the best match or best technical match ever, but I really feel like they would have gave him a couple more minutes to breathe and do some stuff. I think they really could have got it. I thought it was enjoyable. I've never really been opposed to Nikita Lyons. A lot of people either really hate her or really like her. I'm kind of right in the middle. I think she definitely has some talents in certain areas that, like, she could really be a star at some point, but I think also she's her own worst enemy with being like, a lot of people don't like her, so like it's hard to get past that, especially when you bring the heels, because you're like, people are gonna find every reason to, and they're gonna point out your flaws a lot. So I think this faction eventually will be the call, but obviously we haven't got that set up here in an Evolve universe, which is weird. So yeah, this match I think was pretty solid. I put it up in the C. I don't think it was good or bad, or like wasn't like great or bad or anything, but I just think it was good to be on the show. Right in the middle of the match, though, we had Ariana Grace come out and just stand there. I'm pretty sure they're trying to signal that she's going to be the new GM. Like, obviously, her dad's the GM over there in um, NXT, or not TNA, and then they had the partnership thing. So I think she's been kind of in that role. She wrestles very rarely, so I think that's kind of what they're gonna do. But it was a weird way to bring this up, so this is definitely going into T. I don't know why they decided to do it that way, because one, it killed the momentum of the match just have a random thing, and two, it just was also really disrespectful to the people on it. Then we had a backstage thing with Chewy and Chantel Monroe. Honestly, with her, like, going after Wendy Chu and all that, and eventually getting the win, I don't really think it propelled her at it at all, because she's gonna go against Kendall Gray, and like I feel like they really built up Chantel Monroe, and it's just gonna be a waste because she's just going to get slapped back down. I don't see Kendall Gray losing the title in her second defense. They said it's in 3 weeks, which is kind of but I think the segment itself, it was pretty serviceable. Nothing too crazy. I think Chantel Monroe definitely needs to be working more and more on those promos, but that's what she's here for. But yeah, they have the title match, like I said, 3 weeks against Kendall Gray. I do and don't like that. I do like that we know when it's happening, but I don't like that. Like, it feels so out of the blue, like, and so far out that it's like there's not as much hype for it. Hopefully they build it up in the next couple of weeks better. But right off the bat, there's not much on it. I mean, I do see a world where Kendall Gray does drop it right away, because if she drops it, then she can go onto NXT. But I really feel like she should hold it at least going into the new year, and then they could do what they want to do. So I guess I'm semi hyped. I like anytime we do have a title match, so I think I'll put that up an A. Then we also were announced that Pete Javasa and Callie Armstrong will have a match next week. if done right, this could be really good. They really got to make both women look good, which is always a difficult thing in wrestling. So I'll put it up at A. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Then we had an It Skull Studometer type thing in the back. He's basically searching for another tag team partner. I swear if they put the second place winner of LFG in that same role like they did last time, I wouldn't be surprised, but it would be kind of annoying. I am kind of curious to see what tag partner he does get. It's probably going to be Aaron Rourke because like they've been pushing both of them the same amount, so it could be a very good possibility. I'll put it up in B. And then we get to the main event, Jackson Drake versus Keanu Carver. Honestly, this match had a lot of really good back and forth. Keanu Carver, like I said, he's extremely talented. I just feel like he's in the wrong time right now. If he was in the WWE, like 3 years ago, he would be good, or even a year in the future. It's just that Obafemi being the dominant person that he is, like you can't really have two of the same on the same roster. So like I feel like he's kind of having to wait until Obafemi gets called up before he can ever get to NXT. And I think like eventually he does probably have a title run down here. It would be dumb not to because he's just such a massive talent and he just has that look that, like he's a monster out there and, he needs to have that title at some point. But I don't think that was the time last night. Obviously, like I said, NXT was already kind of spoiled that Jackson Drake was going to win this, but overall, I think it was still a really fun match. A lot of shenanigans, which we knew was going to happen to set up hopefully some more future storylines with this so we don't completely shut this out. But Jackson Drake will face Shawn Legacy next, and I think that should be a pretty good match too. Still like 50-50. If they're going to do it, this would be the time to like drop it because it would be on a grander stage. But I could also see them retaining just because they're trying to build Jackson Drake up a little bit better. I think he needed a longer title reign than Callie Armstrong, to be honest, because Callie Armstrong just like fit. Like she was ready to go. I think she's ready to go for NXT. But yeah, solid match. I'll put it up in A. I do think I like the Shawn Legacy match a little bit better. I do think if they went to add the same amount of time, I definitely think the Shawn Legacy match is better. But I think the 10 minutes that they gave Jack Drake and Keanu Carver was well spent. And this was a really good show altogether. You're really surprising when you get like all your matches pretty good. Because like even the Nikita Lyons match, like you could rate it higher and I would not be opposed to it either. Like I thought it was entertaining. It wasn't super long, so like you knew it was just going to be kind of like a fun match. I just was a little bit confused because of like they just really have to get their timelines all straightened up. But I put this as a solid B, probably B plus. Maybe an A minus. Like it was a really good show, especially for being so far into. They had some pretty good streaks of having good shows, but I think this one was top that by quite a bit. So yeah, if you guys like these type of videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.